Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by a whole bunch of people in both Google Plus Hangouts on air. Let's say hello to you first of all. We've got Sleeping Warrior, Paul, Quantum Eraser, Chocolate Saiyan, 10th Man, and Righteous Force. Hello, 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 hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Enthusiastic lot that you are. We've also got Ranty on Skype. Hello, Ranty, can you hear us? Bloody hell, didn't think you'd be asking me to say hello.
And we got Zanuck in Discord. Good morning, Zanuck.
Enthusiastic bunch that they are.
His mic might not be working. Hold on, let me check.
Blame it on the rain. Yeah, yeah.
Not on server mute.
Yeah.
Should be working. Your mic's not working, Zanuck. You're flashing, but we don't hear anything. Anywho.
He's in a different latitude. He needs to come here.
Just drop and rejoin. Anyway, any signs of Earth curvature?
Not from California.
Not on Earth.
Any signs of axial rotation?
Nope.
Nope. No.
Me, or am I not hearing anything from Discord at all? Any chance you can just pop into Discord, Righteous Force, and just check that? No, stopped working. I can't hear anything from Discord. Isn't that bloody wonderful? Literally nothing has changed. Okay, so any evidence of the distance to the sun?
Definitely none.
No.
Any evidence of a self-perpetuating molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
No.
Nope. No evidence.
Okay, I think I've figured out what the problem is. Let's just have a look. Any evidence of the R value, Earth radius?
Nope. Presupposition. RB none.
Nope.
Any evidence of gas pressure
Yes,
without the necessary antecedent of a container? Oh, there we go. I think we've got... Can someone say something in Discord?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
There we go.
Hello.
Perfect.
Testing.
Yeah, we're good. Thank you, Discord. We're working again.
Give me a ratio of energy divided by temperature.
Is this evidence of gas pressure without a container?
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part.
Negative.
Can you say it again?
Yes.
Here we go, boys.
Looking at my barometer right now, it says 14.7 psi, 29.97 inches of mercury. There's pressure. I
Yeah.
don't see a container.
Yeah, because you're in a container.
What? So I'm in a container. Okay. Where's the container? Where's the walls of these container?
Where'd you get the gas pressure?
From the weight of the air above me. Oh, air doesn't have weight?
No, the sky in your rhetoric is claimed to be a vacuum.
It is a progressive vacuum. Yes, it is.
Right, well then there's no weight to that pressing down on the atmosphere below it.
Why is that?
Because it's a vacuum.
Yes, it's a vacuum.
Yes,
So
that's right. Yes,
as you go
that
lower,
would
it
be
becomes
something
higher
not
and higher
pressing
pressure.
down.
So less and less a vacuum as you go down.
Sorry, just talk through me pointing out that wouldn't be something weightier than it pressing down on it, because it isn't. And you just started talking through me like that was somehow addressing me with a rebuttal, even though I hadn't finished speaking.
Force over MA can account for the differential pressure.
What was that, Paul? Paul, what was
I
that? You
said
said force equals MA
force
equals accounts for
MA
the
can
differential
account for the
pressure?
differential pressure.
Or if there's a force.
No, mass over acceleration can account for the force, while the differential pressure exists in the upper atmosphere.
He wasn't talking about differential pressure, Paul. The question was put to him, how do you have gas pressure?
Yeah.
By the weight of the gas above you. So
And where
it
did you get
stacks
that?
up and creates pressure.
Yep, we got that
Pretty
bit.
simple.
And then I asked you, where did you get the gas pressure from in the first place?
It comes from the weight of the actual air.
And then I pointed out that in your rhetoric, your sky was a vacuum, undoing that argument.
Well, by definition, if you have the weight of the air above you, it's going to be progressively lower as you go up.
No, by definition, in your rhetoric, the sky is not a weight, it's a vacuum.
Correct.
So
Because the
that
pressure is
undoes
lower
that
because there's less
argument.
air above you.
So not correct, and then you continue talking. Correct, and that obliterates the idea that there's a weight above something keeping the pressure of the air here when it's claimed to be a vacuum. That's the undoing of that assertion.
You're talking in circles because if you have weight, then
No.
it would be going
I'm not
down.
talking in circles. You're talking in circles and keeping us talking in circles because I demolish your argument, and then you go, yes, that's correct. The sky is a vacuum, even though you've previously asserted that the weight of the stuff above presses down on the gas below. No, if it's asserted
Correct.
that the sky is a vacuum, this isn't your opportunity to talk through me summarising again, where you will take us round in circles, undoubtedly.
Zanuck, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you're saying that the weight of the air, right? That the column of weight, obviously air doesn't do that, but you're saying that the weight is coming from that air.
Yes,
Right.
air has weight. Correct. So
Right.
the more
So
weight you have
how,
above you, the more
if
pressure you have.
so above that air, if there's a vacuum, how is that air providing weight downwards?
Because the weight is a force, and that force is pushing down. And so as you go higher,
So
you
the
have less
weight
and less of that
itself
having
is a
weight.
force?
So less weight, hold on, less weight has less pressure. Less pressure means vacuum.
Sorry.
Differential pressure means vacuum.
Sorry, just for
As
clarity,
you go up,
just
there's
sorry
more
to interrupt, Zanuck. You said down. Gas asserts pressure in all directions, though, doesn't it?
Gas pressure is in all directions. Yes, it is a scalar value, not a vector value.
So not just down, then.
Right.
Gas pressure is everywhere, correct.
So it's also pressing outwards and upwards, then.
Well, that's where you're getting the confusion between weight and
No, I'm not confused. It presses in all directions, not just down. I'm not confused. It just sounds like when you say I'm confused, that means what you're about to do is engage in doublespeak.
No, it's a little confusing. But if you listen to the details, it's very clear.
It's clear that the gas expands in all directions, correct?
Weight is
Not weight! Gas! Gas expands in all directions.
yes.
So if the sky is a vacuum, the gas would expand into it.
All you need is a force, and the gas won't expand. A container or a force, and that force is the weight of the air. The weight of the air is pushing down as a vector and a magnitude. The pressure is scalar. It is all around you. It is created by that force, by that weight, creates the pressure. And the pressure is a force per unit area.
Oh, what area?
Really
Please.
simple.
What's the area you're going to be using in this instance, please? Because obviously the gas is expanding in all directions. And when it expands up, I want to know what the area it's going to press on is, please. Where do you get that measurement
It's
for?
not expanding. It's not expanding in all directions.
Yeah, it fucking is. You lying piece of shit. The gas expands in all directions. Do not lie. Excuse me. You are wrong. The gas does expand in all directions. How dare you assert such utter nonsense, simply based on your sphere religion? The gas does expand in all directions. You are wrong, Zanuck.
Tell me why I'm wrong.
Because gas does expand in all directions.
Unless it has a force acting on it.
No, Zanuck. Gas expands in
No.
all directions to fill the available volume. That doesn't mean you continue to talk through me when I pull down my pants and take a little poo on your crappy little religious assertion. That's not your cue to continue talking through me. Gas will expand in all directions. And now you explain that we need an area. Now, that doesn't stop happening because you assert a fundy belief in a force that doesn't exist and is not a force. So, we're still back to this area. And given that it does expand in all directions, contrary to your incorrect assertion you made moments ago, it does expand in all directions, and I want to know what the area is that it's going to press upon when it expands up.
Very easily with a barometer.
Sorry, I want to know what area it's going to press on when the gas expands upwards and outwards, as it absolutely will and does and must. What area? You conceded it needs an area for this mathematics. You seem to love mathematics. Now we've got the definition from you summarised by Paul, and we need an area. So what area is it pressing on at the top when it expands upwards, Zanuck?
It's not pressing on an area.
Yeah, it must! You've just said we've got an area in the maths. No, it's not going to press on an area. It's part of the maths, isn't it?
Whatever area there is, it's pressing.
Yeah, what area is there up by the sky vacuum, Fundy? What area's there as he talks through me? Because, of course, it's time for Fundy obfuscation. We've got it established that it's going to press on an area. The area's in the maths, and it expands in all directions. So what area is it pressing on at the top? Oh, it's just time for rumpusing and Fundy behaviour. Yeah, I'll calmly mute them. Yeah, because they're not listening. What's going on with the guy who's opening his mic to cause endless feedback? Yeah? What's it pressing on at the top? The gas is expanding in all directions. The maths needs an area. What area is it pressing on? By the vacuum of the sky.
Pressing
that
on
it can't
itself.
press on.
There's no object for it to press on.
Well, then it won't be pressing. It'll be expanding into the available volume. As per gas law, it will expand to fill the available volume. And if the available volume is claimed to be a sky vacuum, the gas would be filling it. The fact that it isn't means it isn't a sky vacuum.
Because there's the force. It's really simple.
What force? Gravity isn't a force. So what force?
I didn't say. You said gravity.
What force?
You're talking gravity now?
What force? Are you deaf? What force? Are you deaf? You've said it's not needing a container if it's got a force. What force?
The weight is the.
Weight isn't a force, Fundy. Weight isn't something to press on, Fundy. Weight isn't a sky vacuum that gas could disperse into, Fundy.
You're talking in circles.
You think this is funny, Fundy?
Air has weight. You can weigh air. It's very simple. Pressure can be measured by a barometer, and you can validate that.
What about that area? So we've circled jerked back to the bit where we need an area for the mathematics. So given that it expands in all directions, what's it pressing on? Oh, it's rumpusing time because we're back to the obfuscated point we got to last time. What's it pressing on at the top, Zanuck?
That's the difference between a a scalar value and a
I'm not asking about scalar values. I'm asking what area it's pressing on at the top. Gas is expanding in all directions. Fact. Now I want to know what area we're going to get from your sky vacuum. Are we going to get an area from your sky vacuum, Fundy?
the area of all objects. That's the area.
The area of
Everything.
the sky vacuum for the gas to press upon at the top. The area. We're going to get that from a sky vacuum.
Atmosphere?
Are you stupid? You think we're going to get an area from an infinitely expanding vacuum? You're stupid. You're a fundamentalist religious zealot if you think we're going to get an area from that. We're not getting an area from a sky vacuum because it isn't an area to press upon. What it is a vast space for the gas to fill.
You're getting really heated here. It's just
Heated? You and your perpetual lies about the world I live in are what piss me off. Royally. The sky is absolutely not a vacuum. If it was, the gas I'm breathing to get pissed off with you with would be filling that space instantaneously. The fact that it isn't means the sky is not a vacuum. You with your bullshit forces and silence when I ask you what force, and then you tell me about how much weight we've got, and ignore the fact we haven't got an area to press on. We've got an ever-increasing bullshit vacuum that the gas isn't dispersing into. Therefore, not a vacuum, just bullshit.
it has weight, Nathan.
It has weight, Nathan. I laugh about my religion when it's being
What's the
having.
definition of
I'm
weight?
taking down my pants and having a little poo on your religion,
Low.
and the only thing you can do is giggle.
Ricky, get on there. Come on.
Because it's funny. Nathan, come on. This gets serious. Air has weight. We can measure it. Weight is a force. And
Weight's not a force. What the bloody hell are you babbling on about? The gas is not going to be going down with your force of gravity,
No.
right? The gas is expanding in all directions. It's not a downward force.
there's the weight, which is a downward force. And then
What about the pressure? What about that? You keep equivocating. We're not talking about weight. We're talking about pressure.
pressure. Yes.
Yeah.
Pressure.
And what's it pressing on at the top, Fundy, where you claim there's a sky vacuum for that gas to disperse into, Fundy? What's it pressing on there to give you the pressure? You see, it's just rumpusing. We're getting concisely
Yeah.
to the point, Zanuck, and all you're doing is interrupting me. What's it pressing on? At the top, where there's a sky vacuum for the gas to disperse into. Not weight, pressure.
Why do we measure vacuum at 100,000 feet? Point.
Sorry, that's a question from me that doesn't answer what's it pressing on at the top, where there's claimed to be a vacuum, and it needs to press on something. It needs an area. Now, your shit about the gas having some downward force, yeah, is nonsense. It's expanding in all directions, Zanuck. Now, it's going to expand into that vacuum if it was there. It's not.
We can measure it. We can weigh it.
What, measure what? Pressure? You what, the force over an area?
Force over an area. Yes. That's
Oh, right.
pressure.
What area is that force of the gas that expands in all directions, including up towards your fundy belief in a vacuum? What's the area up in the sky?
There is no area in the.
Then there is no sky vacuum.
There's no surface area in the sky. So it's
Well, no, there will be something for that gas to press on. Otherwise, it would fuck off into space. Are you paying attention, Zanuck?
the what?
Are you paying attention? If the sky was a vacuum, a massive space that the gas could fill because it expands in all directions, regardless of your fundy little equivocation with weight, which it isn't, because it's producing pressure, the force over an area. And when asked what the area is, given that the gas is also expanding upwards, you say there is no area. Well, no, Fundy. That means there is no sky vacuum.
It doesn't need an area to press on. It just,
Yeah, it does! The force over an area! That is the pressure, Fundy.
weight down.
Not the weight. You see, he's done it again, ladies and gentlemen. He's squirming like a little bitch. Because all he can do is equivocate with weight. We're not talking weight, Fundy Dick. We're talking pressure. The force over the area. Now, that force is going to be created in all directions. Because that's what gas does. Expands in all directions.
Really?
Now,
So why
it's
does
gonna
the pressure-
expand into your fundy belief in an infinitely expanding vacuum if there was one.
Maybe we should talk about Coriolis.
I think we should talk about the fact the sky isn't a vacuum.
It is a vacuum. You measure it.
You don't want to talk
0.16
about
PSI.
Coriolis, Zanuck. Stop.
0.16 psi at 100,000 feet, and in 10 times that at 150,000 feet. A vacuum, a true vacuum. I mean, a real vacuum that suck the air out of your lungs and make your eyes pop out of your head.
And suck the air off the planet and into the sky vacuum, never to be seen again.
Well, we measure vacuum all the time.
Excuse me? You've just said it would suck the air out of your lungs, suck your eyeballs out of your head, but not suck the gas off the earth?
A baller said the vacuum is a sucking force.
Let me get it
Classic.
straight.
Not a sucking. There's nothing. There's no force in a vacuum.
You just said it would suck the air
You
out of your
just
lungs,
said!
your eyeballs out your head, but let me get it straight. It won't suck the gas off the earth.
The pressure does everything. Vacuum.
Pressure, the force over an area. Right, let's back to this. No worries. What's it pressing on at the top?
There's nothing for it to press on.
Then there is no sky vacuum, because it must. It absolutely must press on something. It's expanding in all directions. And if there was a vacuum, it would expand into it. It would expand into it, Zanuck. I know you need to obfuscate this by talking through the conclusory point. Yeah? If the sky was a vacuum... Now, I know you've got to rumpus this point. It's your only defence. If the sky was a vacuum, then the gas which is expanding in all directions would fill that space.
No, it won't.
Yeah, it will. It's called the second law of thermodynamics. It's called entropy.
No, it's not called entropy.
Yeah, it is. It's called entropy. The gas would fill the space.
No, it's called.
Wait a minute. Have him demonstrate how gas will not do that.
You're confused with
So I'm on
entropy.
the
So
small
is
scale. Demonstrate
quantum
that.
eraser that the sun is a great entropy generator. No, entropy, the
Paul's
sun goes
asking you
down.
to answer a housekeeping question. Paul's asking you to answer a housekeeping,
Wow,
Zanuck.
did you
Well,
just
what's the
repeat
units of
Rumpus and
entropy,
say
quantum
the sun
eraser?
makes
What's the unit?
entropy
Give
go
me a
down?
ratio with the units of entropy.
Wait. Zanuck, really? The
Just
sun
ask-
decreases entropy?
No, it's using that to get
But
away from
silent,
the
we
ass
have
beating. No. Paul's asked him to answer a housekeeping question.
Silent. We can measure pressure with a
Don't
barometer,
wriggle.
right?
Don't
you and
wriggle.
I've talked about that.
Don't
before.
wriggle. Let
We can
Paul ask
measure
you the
pressure.
question again. Go ahead, Paul.
We can measure.
No,
we can
don't
measure pressure
wriggle.
at
Don't
any
squirm, you
Measurement
little
is not
bitch.
demonstration.
Don't
Measurement is not
squirm.
demonstration.
Don't constantly obfuscate the question you're being asked. Paul's going to ask you a question. I know it's painful, Zanuck, and it
Paul, go
must
ahead.
be obfuscated. And this, me telling you that it must be obfuscated, must also be obfuscated.
robot.
So you've got a perpetual position where everything must be obfuscated and you must talk through everything. I'm telling you, don't. It's just us all taking our trousers down and taking a little poo on your religion. Paul's about to do it. Go ahead, Paul.
Can you demonstrate this, Zanuck, in a laboratory environment? Can you demonstrate this?
Of course.
And also, do you know the mole value of the atmosphere up there? Do you know the mole value?
The mole value of the
up there?
atmosphere? Up where? Can you be a little more vague? You want a mole
Well, you're
value
saying there's
of
less
the
and less
atmosphere.
gas up there, so that means you must know the value of the sky vacuum, so to speak. So what's the mole value
what a
of
mole is? Do you know what a mole is?
it? Well, how much? Okay, I'll ask a different question. How much of the gas is up
you got
there?
to use the word mole.
Tell me.
I'm asking if you know what the word mole
Well,
means.
It doesn't matter. Well, you answer it and you tell me what's up there.
Well, I'll tell you what the mole. A mole means 6.07 sextillion of anything. I can have a mole of both. So what do you ask?
Wrong. Got that wrong too. Wrong. Clown.
6.07 sextillion of anything. I can have a mole of boats. I can have a mole of racers.
Wrong.
Didn't this recently change? So his number's correct for, is it C for carbon 4? But it's changed, correct?
Yeah, it's changed. It's that number, Avogadro's number of elementary entities.
Right. But they've changed the standardization basically, haven't they, I think it's in the last 12 months.
Yes.
But it's definitely
Well,
not the value. I don't know the value off the top of my head, and I'm going to write it down. But it's not that value for anything. That's complete
Nathan, I'm
nonsense.
giving you the value.
That's
I'm doing the hard work for you.
No, you're.
Well, wait a minute. Let me get back in here just a second. See, to say that there's a vacuum up there, or what you call a vacuum, you would have to prove that there's less gas up there. Well, I was saying earlier that mass over ma can account for differential pressure, because if you have the mass of the particle hitting something, then the force applied to that is going to be reduced. And also the temperature is also going to reduce the acceleration of that particle. So differential pressure can account for that lack of pressure up there, or that force over ma can account for it. My question is, you're going to have to prove that there's less gas up there. How do you prove that?
That's why there's less pressure. Because there's
I
less
just said
gas.
force over ma can account for that, for the differential pressure.
What do you mean by force over ma?
Mass over acceleration. If you have
Mass
less
over acceleration is what?
Right.
What is mass over acceleration equal to?
the force.
No.
Force
No.
over ma.
No. Force is not equal to mass over acceleration. Why can't you guys get these
Really?
equations correct?
Matt?
Yes.
Okay, wait a minute.
Interesting.
Wait a minute. Hang on.
I'm trying to help you, and you keep on blasting me for talking over you and all this other accusations. And I'm just trying to help you understand some basics. And that one is an error. And again, you guys can't get a moles defined. You can't get force defined. You can't get pressure defined.
Yeah, right. You're
baloney,
baloney, man.
Can't
This
get
is
anything
baloney.
defined. Can't get what?
You guys,
String
you
of
guys
ad-homs.
can't do this. You don't know what the hell you're talking. You're talking out your ass. Everything you say, right?
You tell me I'm wrong about a mole. You correct me
You're
if
a
I'm
clown.
wrong. That's your job.
You
Correct me. Go
are
ahead.
a
Go on.
clown, sir.
Go.
Period.
John, go
End
ahead.
of story.
Correct me. A mole is 6.076 trillion of anything. Go.
I
You
already
said I'm
did, you
wrong. Go
friggin'
ahead. Back it
clown.
up for the whole.
We just
I already
literally-
did, you clown.
discussed it literally 2 minutes ago. John and I just discussed it and how you were wrong.
You can't be because you're always lying.
We just literally discussed it. It was recorded and broadcast live to an audience of about 120 people.
I'm not wrong. Can you tell me why I'm wrong?
We did about 2 minutes ago.
I didn't hear it. He's wrong.
Well, try shutting up when other people talk. You see, that's the only disadvantage to continually rumpusing people. People will say things and just ignore the fact that you can't shut up for more than about 25 seconds. And they will continue to talk regardless of the fact that you talking immediately means you're not listening to a word anybody said. Now, I realise that that's half the point, so that you don't have to answer any question that's asked. Because if you've talked through it, it seems like you haven't been asked. That's half the point of you rumpusing.
There, that's 30 seconds. Go ahead, Paul. Let's get through.
I have me asked one simple question. If I have a tennis ball and I have a baseball, and they're both accelerating at the same rate, which will apply more force to the wall, the tennis ball or the baseball?
They're both accelerating at the same. That's not enough information. Give me a velocity and I'll.
Pick a velocity. You pick one. Pick one. Doesn't matter. You can pick the velocity. You can pick the weight.
If they're the same,
Obviously,
if
the two weights are
hit the
different.
wall, if
You
they
tell
hit the
me.
wall at the same velocity, the baseball will have.
You need him
The
to give you a
baseball-
velocity. They're
Go
both
ahead.
moving at 10 meters per second. Both of them. Same velocity. There you go.
Same velocity, the baseball has more kinetic energy. It'll have more.
So, which has more weight? A hydrogen atom or an oxygen molecule?
Oxygen.
Okay, if an oxygen molecule and a hydrogen molecule, the velocity is the same, what is the force?
What is the? I have to know the velocity to give.
Okay, the kinetic energy of typical
I have
molecules
to know the
could be
rate of, I
anywhere
have to know the
from
rate of deceleration.
1,200
I have to know the
kilometers
rate
per
of,
second.
Hold on. I'd have to know the rate of deceleration to give you a force.
Rate of deceleration? Is that what you
Because
said?
you don't have a force by a velocity. Velocities don't give you a force.
Force is equal to mass over acceleration.
No, it's not. You got it wrong again.
Times acceleration. I'm sorry, times acceleration. My bad.
Okay. All right. No
Force
problem.
is equal to mass times acceleration. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Okay.
So if you're
Average
if you
speed
give
of a
me
particle is
velocity,
1,200 kilometers per
hold
second.
on, you gave me a velocity, not acceleration. So if you gave me acceleration, then we could tell you for that mass what the force is. Correct. But you're giving me a velocity, and that doesn't give you acceleration. I mean, it doesn't give you force.
All I'm saying is the mass of the particle is different, but the acceleration is the same. The heavier molecule
Different or the
will
same?
have more force.
What is what he's saying? I'm sorry, Paul. I'm confused what you're trying to ask me.
It's real simple. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know how much more I can say. I mean, if I'm misunderstanding, I'm sorry. But
No, I know. I have a feeling what you're trying to say, but you're just not. You're not giving enough information to go on. What's
if
the
there's
point?
less, okay, I'll say it simply. If there's hydrogen and helium at the higher upper atmosphere, they're going to have less kinetic energy on your barometer than if you're at lower altitudes, which have heavier gases. So you're going to have more kinetic energy. So that can account for the differential pressure. You can have the same amount of hydrogen at the higher levels as you have down here, but because the kinetic energy is going to be reduced, you're going to have lower pressure. That's my argument. And I think force over ma is what I'm trying to drive at. Just like the tennis ball and
Force
the
equals
baseball.
ma. Force equals ma, not force over ma.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, force times
Okay.
ma.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I know what you
force
mean.
equals
No
ma.
problem.
Yeah, whatever.
So we know the mixture of gases from surface level to about 100 kilometers is relatively constant. That means there's the equal mixture of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, all the lighter molecules. You don't get into ionized gases and things like O and N until you get to the very, very high atmosphere levels. So let's just stay at 100 kilometers and lower. What are you saying about this mixture of gas that is called our atmosphere at the 100 up to the 100 kilometer level? They're mixed and they move around. And yes, the temperature will determine how fast these molecules will oscillate and vibrate and run into each other and run into other things, because they all have mass and they all have kinetic energy. And that kinetic energy causes the pressure. It also causes temperature.
Right, which increases acceleration, right, which increases the force.
Which causes.
Okay, and all gases have pressure, correct?
The force.
All gases have pressure, correct, Zanik?
Very good, Silent. Yes.
And how do you
sounds
calculate it? What's the mathematics?
Gases
for
do
it?
not have.
How do you calculate
You don't
it?
have to have pressure. With
What's the
gases.
calculation?
Pardon me?
What's the calculation? How do you calculate it? That pressure that all gases have.
You measure it.
You know, how do you calculate it? What's the calculation?
Force per unit area.
Area? And gases are expanding in all directions, aren't they?
They can be. If they don't have a force acting on them, they will, for sure, yes.
All right, so in the case of
There
our
are gases
atmosphere...
in space.
Okay,
There's
in the
gases
case of
acting,
our
but they have no
atmosphere...
pressure.
In the case of our atmosphere, what force is acting on those gases, Zanik?
The weight of the molecules of air.
Weight. They're expanding in all directions.
Not if they have a weight. Not if they have a weight.
Sorry,
That's
if
what
they
weight
have a
does.
weight. They do have a weight, but they're
forces
still...
it down.
Sorry, they do have a weight, but they absolutely fundamentally are... Just, sorry, Zanik, can you stop interrupting my rebuttal, please? Again, this is another one of those times. I'm slowly undoing my belt, pulling down my trousers, then my pants, then I'm going to do a little poo on your assertion. Okay? So you say not if they've got weight. No, that's wrong. They're still expanding in all directions, regardless of the qualification with weight. So they're still expanding in all directions, regardless of you using their weight to describe how they behave. Because they still expand in all directions, fundamentally. Don't they, Zanik?
Well, that's a contradiction. They can't expand in all directions if they have weight.
They do expand in all directions, fundamentally, by their nature. That's what gas does.
Have you ever seen,
wait a minute,
carbon dioxide?
Sorry. We're not getting past this, Zanik. Let's not go on a little journey. Sorry, I'm saying they are expanding in all directions. You're saying they're not if they have weight. Now, all gases might have weight, But they are still fundamentally expanding in all directions to fill the container that they're in. That's gas law. That's what they do. Now, you're saying they don't because they've got weight. Well, that's not a demonstration or any sort of reasoning or logic for why they wouldn't behave as they do behave, which is to expand in all directions. That's a fact. It's not defined by you describing them with their weight. Okay? Now, force, that's another matter, but you haven't told us about force. You've just decided to give them weight, which doesn't make any difference to them expanding in all directions. So we're not getting anywhere, Zanik. They're still expanding in all directions, mate. And that's pressure, which we've already got to. And the pressure mathematics has an area, doesn't it? You see, it's my conclusion. Back to on track, so it's rumpusing time from Zanik, rather than me getting him back on track to the point where pressure, the effect of it expanding in all directions and pressing on things, like he just described, has a mathematical formula for calculating how much pressure. And it's based on having an area. Now, when we get to the area that it presses on in the upward direction towards the sky, he starts talking about weight, which doesn't defy gas law, doesn't stop gas expanding in all directions, and it certainly doesn't give him an area to stop the gas expanding into his idea that there's a vacuum up there, which there absolutely isn't, because the gas would be filling it if there's no area to press on.
Hey, Zanik, can you show me where, after you remove the air from the vacuum chamber, where water will pull because of its weight at the bottom of the vacuum chamber? Can you show that to me? That'd be great.
That's what all gas particles will. They'll go down in a vacuum.
That's incorrect. That's absolutely fundamentally wrong. The gas will fill the vacuum, and it won't be a vacuum anymore. If there's any gas in there, it will equally distribute throughout the vacuum chamber.
What's your question again, Paul? In a vacuum, water does what?
Why does it pull at the bottom?
Can you demonstrate in a vacuum chamber how, when you remove the air, and you can use water because it's a good one, how it will pull back down at the bottom of the vacuum chamber? Can you demonstrate that for me, please?
Yeah, when you put water in a vacuum, it starts to boil. And as
boil? What, turn into a gas and fill the container in all directions, expanding to fill the container, not pooling at the bottom with its weight then, Zanik, like Paul's trying to make you point out with your own words. It's not pooling at the bottom then, it's expanding in all directions, boiling and filling the chamber.
You can see carbon dioxide.
Just a yes or no. Does that water, A, as you assert, with its weight, because it does have weight, doesn't it? Yeah, it does have weight, yeah. Does it go to the bottom because of its weight, fucktard? Or does it expand to fill the container?
No, it goes to the bottom because of its weight.
Oh, you fucking retard. No, it does not. You absolute buffoon. You think this is funny? This is the undoing of your argument. You're saying the weight makes it pool at the bottom. No, it fundamentally does not do that, as I've pointed out to you about 6 times. The gas is expanding in all directions. You giving it weight doesn't suddenly mean that, in Paul's example, the water sits at the bottom of the vacuum chamber. It doesn't! You stupid idiot!
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're a stupid idiot. The gas is expanding in all directions. You attributing weight to it, unless you use the word gravity, which of course we'd periodically all take off our belts and trousers and pants and curl one out on that crap as well. Yeah? So no force. Giving it a weight doesn't solve the problem. It's still expanding in all directions. And your assertion that the sky is a vacuum is undone by gas law.
Yes.
Hello?
Yep.
Yep, that's right. Yep, that's your only response. Yes, that's right. The sky is not a vacuum, ladies and gentlemen. It cannot be a vacuum by nature of gas law. Gas wants to expand in all directions. To have pressure, which we absolutely do, it needs to press on something. And they're saying it's not got anything to press on in our religious belief of a sky vacuum where NASA say they go. Then it would disperse, the gas that is, into that space. Because that's what gas does.
That's a vacuum, right? That's a quarter of PSI. That's all you have out of a vacuum cleaner. Nothing.
Sorry, was it just me, or did Professor Dave claim that flat earthers didn't understand what vacuum and vacuum cleaner were, the difference between the two? Wasn't that levelled at us as flat earthers by Professor Dave?
Yep.
So, Professor Dave, I think you need to address your own side of merry idiots like Zanik here, who doesn't seem to appreciate the difference between a 10 to the minus 17 torr claimed to be sky vacuum and a vacuum cleaner. Hello?
And that somehow or another, a vacuum will suck your eyes out of your socket, but it won't suck the air out of the atmosphere.
Right.
What's that, Paul? So say, or is that chocolate? What's that? You said that air will suck the air eyes out of your head. What?
That's what you said.
Isn't that what you?
That's
Isn't that
what
what
you-
you
Oh, I
said?
was being tongue in cheek about that. Yeah, if there's differential pressure, the inside pressure of your body will be pushing the eyes out of your
Yeah.
head.
Well,
There's no
I'm going to tell the
sucking.
ballers
So
that
differential
Xanax power-
pressure.
Oh God.
Differential
So
pressure will take the eyes out of my socket, but it won't pull the air away from the earth.
Correct.
That's nonsense. That's
Okay.
absolute nonsense. If the sky was a vacuum, the gas, which is trying to expand in all directions, would fill that space instantaneously. No sky vacuum. That's what debunks it. Gas law.
The gas law, it works for a container. The container you're talking about, that may be true, where you change the volume and the pressure go up, you change the temperature, the pressure go up or down. That's a different set of conditions than
That's Boyle's law. Yeah, that's not just gas law, that's Boyle's law specifically.
Boole's law as well.
Yeah, well, we're not
Are-
talking about
are you
Boyle's
gonna-
law,
Are
are
you
we?
going to tell us again, Zanik, how the Earth is mostly a closed system?
Air pressing down
Is it-
on itself
Is it
all the way
mostly
down
closed,
to the surface.
or is it?
He's just reverted to circle jerk, pressing down, he says. He's ignoring, head in the sand time from Zanuck, the fact that gas expands in all directions. He just has to circle jerk back to, it's pressing down, there's stuff above it, the vacuum presses down on it from the top. No, it doesn't, that's also been undone here. But it seems this circle jerking asshole just has to parrot off the nonsense again.
So Nathan, it doesn't go in all directions. It goes less.
Yeah, it fucking does. That's what gas does. It expands in all directions. Don't start your sentence with gas does not expand in all directions. Yes, it does. You are retarded. Yes, it does. You are wrong. You are stupid.
Go ahead.
You are stupid. Gas absolutely does expand in all directions. You were held over a barrel by Paul only 3 minutes earlier, asking if the weight of the water would stay at the bottom of the vacuum, and it does not. It would evaporate and expand in all directions to fill the available volume.
Can I ask you a question on that, Nathan? Can I ask you a question on that?
So in extreme vacuums, Nathan, which I work in, go ahead.
Sorry, did you just start that statement with, in extreme vacuums which I work in?
Go ahead. I can hear you, Silent.
I heard you say, in extreme vacuums which I work in. That was your opener.
In my field, yes.
Your field is working in...
I fly. It doesn't mean I'm a pilot. I mean, I'm a pilot. That doesn't mean that's what my living is.
Sorry.
That's what my profession is.
What do you claim to
You
fly?
fly
The shuttle?
vacuums?
What do you fly? The ISS?
Wow. No.
Not wow, you've said you work in extreme vacuums. Then you said you fly. Now, unless your next breath is I pilot Thunderbird fucking ISS, then what is the point of you saying you work in extreme vacuums if you say you fly in the next breath?
Can
I do a lot of things. I race cars. I
This is nonsense. So you don't work in extreme vacuums, then you are a liar.
Hold on.
So you are a liar. Do you mean you work with extreme Dyson vacuum cleaners?
work with vacuums. I work with the
Nathan,
construction of integrated circuits, and in these processes called chemical vapor deposition or particle vapor deposition, we actually have extreme vacuums down to 10 to the minus 10. And in these vacuums, they have reasons where they source and how they actually create the vacuum. So these are something
10?
we actually work with. So I kind of
10
have a
to
little
the
bit of
minus
knowledge.
10?
Not a lot. I'm not an expert, but I do have a little bit of knowledge.
But hold on,
What
let me
kind of
ask a
plane do you
question.
fly, Zanuck? Is it a prop or a jet?
A prop.
So you fly in the vacuum with a prop.
You don't fly in a vacuum with a prop. You can't fly in a vacuum
You
with a
just
prop.
said you did.
You can't
I'm gonna
fly
ask
in a
a different
vacuum with a
question.
prop.
Hang on.
There's
He
a guy
said
in
he
Discord
flies in
waiting to ask
vacuum.
something.
He's got a prop plane, which means a
I never
propeller.
said I fly in a vacuum. Where did you get that?
You did.
Go
The guy
ahead.
in Discord who's been waiting for ages. Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
flashing, but no sound's coming out.
Yes.
Didn't you say you
Correct.
work in
They will. Yes,
vacuums
they will.
and you have
Yes,
experience
they
and
will.
that's your expertise?
Going on.
And
We
then
can't
you
hear the guy who's
equated that
talking
to
in
mine.
Discord. Hold on. We just hear Zanik from
Silent.
Discord.
There'll be a differential pressure from top to bottom. Yes, you're right.
What
Can't
the
hear
You have
half
1,000 psi scuba
Zanik,
tank. That's a
Zanik,
one
for crying
story
out
tall.
bloody loud, will you shut up? We cannot hear him speak. For some
was
reason,
answering his
you can
question.
hear him, and I can only hear you, continually interrupting me, of course. Dude, we can't hear you. Maybe drop and come back in.
Yep. I can hear you.
No, Zanik, who gives a shit what you can hear? You're not producing the show. We can't hear you, dude. Maybe drop and come back.
Okay, Nathan, what he's trying to say is if there's a huge tank that's 1 story tall, will there be a differential pressure from top to bottom if it's under pressure, like 1,000 psi or something? And I said, yes, there would be a slight differential pressure from the bottom to the top of that tank due to the weight.
Yeah, and the tank's got an area. So is the tank equivalent to Earth? What's the equivalent to the top of that tank in your Earth with a vacuum outside of it? What's the equivalent to the top of that tank? What's the area at the top that I asked you about?
You
See, I'm asking you about the area at the top and you keep obfuscating it, and now you've started talking before I concluded my question. So you're now asking me about a tank, something with a surface area to give you that pressure now, and I'm asking you how that's equivalent to Earth. What's the lid between us and the sky vacuum to give you the pressure that you'd get from that tank?
Well, the tank has been pressurized. So
Yeah, what about Earth?
no, silent.
Sorry, Earth is definitely experiencing pressure, and you're saying because it's a tank it can be pressurized, but Earth is pressurized. Earth is pressurized now, isn't it, Zanik?
I know what you're asking.
Earth is pressurized. And I'm saying if you're going to ask me questions about this lid, and I'm primarily concerned with the fact that we are also definitely pressurized, what's the lid in your rhetoric of a sky vacuum that's comparable to this tank you're asking me questions about?
In physics, to have pressure, you need either a container or...
Yeah, you need a container. And you've given me an example with a container. Now I want to know what's containing the pressure on your reification of a sphere in a vacuum.
Or a force.
Sorry, or a force? What force? All you've done when this came around last time, second circle jerk around the same roundabout, right, was tell me that it's got a weight. Yeah, that doesn't defy gas law and doesn't stop it expanding in all directions. And you won't use the word gravity, because you know what happens? I've got my belt ready.
I don't need to use any other word. Weight.
Weight? Yeah, okay, it's got weight. Does that mean it stops expanding in all directions? Does it mean that you get a pool of water at the bottom of a vacuum chamber? No, it's still following gas law.
Nathan,
Can I ask him a different
when
question?
you say gas expands in all directions, is this a singular gas on its own, or does it matter that there's other gas in the surrounding area?
Makes sod all difference.
Gas.
Well, that
Gas.
Hey, clown show. Hey, clown show squatting Thunder Bear. Why don't you come off
That's
mute,
what I
you
know
friggin'
you're
clown,
wrong.
that I just exposed you,
I work
dumbass, on live stream. Shut up. Squatting Thunder Bear, come off
the hell?
mute.
Zanik, can you go on
Right.
mute? Because all we can hear is you clattering.
Can I just answer, please, Nathan?
Answer what?
I
It makes
work
no
with
difference.
chemicals, yeah.
It makes no
And if I
difference.
mix the wrong two chemicals together, it creates a gas which is actually quite deadly to humans, yeah. So we wear masks, yeah. But that gas, if we mix that chemicals together, does not expand in all directions. It will fall to the floor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what? So you're saying
Yeah.
that as I generally walk
Because
around, I see layers
because
of...
the gas
Sorry, I'm asking
because
a
the gas
supplementary
is
question.
heavier than the atmosphere in the room. So the gas will not expand in all directions.
Oh, really?
Can I ask him a question, Nathan, real quick before you?
Jesus
Oh my
Christ.
God.
Fuck's sake. So you're saying you can show me a little bundle of gas not dissipating. Did you hear my question? I get that effect quite a lot. I ask a question and there's a long protracted silence afterwards. So you can show me this little bunch of gas just staying in a bunch, not dissipating, not following the second law of thermodynamics, defying entropy. Please can you show me this, sir?
What is
I
entropy?
think for health and
What
safety,
is
Oh,
entropy?
it's
you
Zanuck
can
to the rescue.
understand
Let's
that
just
I'm
put Zanuck
not-
on mute because he needs to rescue his little mate, doesn't he? Sorry, sir. Please can you show me this gas in a little section without containment, not following the law of thermodynamics that would dictate that it would dissipate? Do you want to show me that, please? Your bullshit, that is, that you've just asserted.
Well, I never said the gas would not dissipate. Yeah. I said
Yeah,
it
you
would
did.
not expand in all directions.
What the fuck do you think
That's what the hell
dissipate
that
means?
means, man.
You utter retard. What do you think dissipate means?
Press upon it.
Sorry, what the hell do you think dissipate means?
Wow.
What do you think dissipate means? Hello, Fundy retard! What does dissipate mean?
Can I clear something up, Nathan? Maybe it'll help him as well. Real simply.
Just hold on a second, Paul.
What does dissipate mean? Why is this protracted silence happening over and over again? Oi, idiot that's told me I'm wrong, that's told me gas can survive without containment, that the law of thermodynamics doesn't apply. You! What does dissipate mean? Are you caught in the headlights, Fundy? Were you expecting a win with this shite? Were you not expecting me to shout the same question 4 times and you be in protracted silences like a deer in the headlights? Was this not what you were expecting, Fundy? Hello? Show me this gas pressure without a container. Show me this gas not dissipating.
The Earth's atmosphere is gas pressure without a container.
Oh, really? Where did you get the gas pressure from in the first place? Yet another protracted silence.
Okay, can you
Sorry,
define
you're
gas
yet
pressure?
to show me. You're yet to give me your
Where does the Earth's
cowbell,
atmosphere
sir.
come from on a flat Earth then?
Sorry, you're yet to give me your cowbell for
You
your
know
crap
how the
assertion
Earth-
that violates a law of nature. I'd like to see this gas not dissipating that you've talked about. You said you worked with gas and had to wear masks. You gave an example of it not dissipating.
No, I never said that. I never said I worked
So
with...
it does expand and fill the volume. The law of thermodynamics does apply. Hello?
I
So it
said
does
I
dissipate.
work with chemicals,
Sorry,
not
so-
gas. Chemicals.
Sorry, gas chemicals.
And if you mix the two wrong chemicals together, it will create a gas.
That's fascinating. And will that gas stay magically
So
in
for
one
health and
particular...
safety reasons, at work, we do not mix those two chemicals together. Yeah?
That's really nice. That's so interesting. And I often don't eat Hawaiian pizza. Like, I give a shit. Your claim is that it won't fill the available volume and it won't dissipate. I'd like to see that, which you have claimed.
So you're claiming that if
I'm not claiming anything, you stupid retard. You are claiming that you don't need gas to have containment, that it will not dissipate, that your magical gases that should not be mixed won't dissipate. They won't expand in all directions. That is your claim.
Right, so you're telling me that if I mix two small amounts of this chemical together, which will create a very small amount of gas, that small amount of gas would expand and fill the whole entire room.
Yeah. Eventually, it will dissipate
Right.
evenly into the container that it's available to contain it. What is your issue?
I think they need to put the crack
Are,
pipe down.
are you
Nathan.
trying to
Yeah?
are you trying
You
to
may not
say
get
that
so
that
triggered
small
now.
little gas will sit in a ball, like on the floor somewhere? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, that's essentially
I
what
never
he's
said
saying.
it would sit in a
He's
ball.
saying it won't dissipate.
So what are you saying then?
You're just now putting words in my mouth the same way Nathan
What are
does.
you saying?
Yeah?
Clarify what you're saying.
What I'm saying is the gas does not completely fill the room and doesn't
So
expand
what will
in
it
all
do?
directions.
What will it
will
do?
not expand if it has something else to press upon.
Is it pressing upon the other gas in the room? Just curious.
If it's pressing against the other gas in the room, then it's not going to expand, is it?
You
no
are
vacuum.
a freaking clown.
So
Where did you get your wait a second. Where'd you get your chemistry degree, son? Tuco Community College in Tobago? You're a friggin' clown. What's your name?
Highlander.
Yeah, that knucklehead.
Well, can I make a point? The point I was trying to make.
Paul.
Now,
Sorry to bite your head off.
a vacuum. I'm sorry. A vacuum is space entirely void of matter. Now, like air conditioning systems can have high pressure and low pressure, but they have matter in them. So we're talking about, can you show where this gas will not go into it, something that's void of matter? Right now, I think I've tried to demonstrate that you can have matter up there, but have less pressure. So they got to show that there's no matter up there. Sorry, Lily decides to say something.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello, whoever's saying hello.
What do you want
Lily
me
trying
to Oh, I've just had Vegas.
Was my point made? I don't know if you heard it.
Just
What's
about.
happening now then?
Anthony, you're off mute. We can hear your phone conversation.
Did my point get made, or did it get lost?
A little bit lost at the end.
I don't even think this guy knows his point, let alone yours.
You can still have
He
low
still
pressure.
hasn't clarified what his gas that he would mix and it won't expand in volume would do. It's just it mix it and it what is it just gonna sit there or what? Like we need clarification on what this gas is going to do. If it's not going to expand and fill the volume, can you clarify that, sir?
Well, my point. Oh, I'm sorry. My point.
Highlander, you just changed the density of the gas of the chemicals, so now they're heavier than the air. So it's just like butane. Eventually, it will disperse.
Of course it will.
Well, apparently not to this guy.
Yeah, that's his
So
point, that it won't.
Yeah, he's a chemist.
Well, the question I have though, if he put that gas in a vacuum chamber, would it fill the space? That's the question. Would it, or would it pool at the bottom?
Well, he contradicted
Absolutely.
himself because he said it would not expand, but it would dissipate. So somebody's confused. Hello, Mr. Highlander. You there?
If it's the only gas and you release it to a vacuum, yes, it will expand and fill the whole space, yes.
Oh, right. Well, then that categorically debunks any notion that the sky is a vacuum by your own definition, because the gas would fill the space. And with that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley, there will be no further communications, no more chat. This is the end of the road for you. But a massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in. Hopefully smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Also, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this live show possible. As I say, stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!